too much effort.
No, you're gonna do later.
We had to cancel my grandma's sick, you know? So we didn't go. It's like she's not feeling well. Just like, you know, just old age, like she fell down. She had to go to the hospital because she was in pain, you know? And then now she's still not in pain. So we didn't go to any dinner. My parents brought food over. We hung out at our home the whole day, you know?
But she's gonna be better? She's
gonna be better, but she's like 90 something, like 93 or something. So her time's coming, you know. Her time's coming. So
just hope she's not gonna suffer. My grandma was 98 when she died.
98.
And she was smiling. She was old. She had cancer and all the kind of things. So she said that she doesn't want to, she just wants to go natural way. So she told us to come in to say goodbyes and we met all the time.
Sad when she passed away, because she's the one that brings everybody together. Like she's the one who forces everyone to come to the dinner because of all the stuff. Yeah. Brings everybody together, but without her, it's not gonna be around.
I know how this, but that's the role of grandma. With every family is like that. My family too.
It's kind of like me running the business. Like,
yeah.
It's like that's like her. Like,
but then someone has to take over from there. That's the legacy.
It'll be Freddie's mom.
Yeah.
Wendy's awesome.
But it's gonna be sad when she passes away because that.
Is this your mother's mother or your father's mother?
My father's mom. Yeah.
That generation, right?
Yeah.
That generation is gone, yeah.
But she's like really traditional. Like she can't speak English at all, so she was all trying to see the tradition and just die, you know, that way.
And that's not gonna die. You guys gonna take it away.
Can your kids speak Chinese?
No.
Yeah. So they can't speak to their grandma.
No. Like she speaks to me, and that's hard for me to understand. Like I can't even communicate with her. I don't know how to talk.
I saw a documentary where this, I forgot the name of the city in China. The average age of the people in that town is like 95.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
There was, I think, yeah, the average. There's a 100-year-old guy out in the fields getting his corn for his food. It's amazing.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
There's some places like that. They eat well, they
Yeah.
train, they're not stressful.
Their exercise is going out getting their food in the mountains.
Yeah.
That's their exercise.
My grandfather is the same. He's 80 something and he's got muscle. When he hugs me, I feel like he's all muscle. You know, and so he does all day. Pull some trees, cut some trees. I don't know. And my mom's angry. She's like, why is he doing this all the mom? That's his exercise.
Yeah,
this is what he's doing.
Like
he's running 50 miles per day on the bike.
If he stops, then his health will go down.
That's what he says. But like, that's kind of crazy how my mom looks at it. It's like she's like, he doesn't have to do it. He's all he can sit at home. I'm like, and the one guy. And I'm like, this is part of like his routine. It's amazing. I wish I could have helped like him.
Because if you don't move much, it's actually gonna deteriorate.
Yeah, muscle dystrophy. That's what just that's one truth that they should be talking about on TV or on the radio that you don't use it, you use it and it's with everything.
My dad's godfather, the guy is in his late 80s. I don't know if he's like 88, 87 years old. He walks around the street with a cane, but he walks on average about 1.5 miles, 2 miles a day. Even if he's just going to the store. The guy's had like 4 surgeries, hip replacement, and all kinds of surgeries. He's tough.
Hip replacement is a serious surgery.
I admire people like that. That's very
something if they're not going to learn Chinese. I think just knowing English is a disadvantage if that's the only language you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In Spanish.
No, yeah, I'm going to put Thomas in a school that teaches him in Spanish when he gets kindergarten.
What?
Because Spanish is
rough, dude.
Yeah.
is practical for our culture here.
Just
Because
so
there's so many people speaking.
Especially in
But
this
if-
neighborhood.
Yeah, even if I had to speak Chinese, it's not practical because there's really not that many people here
Yeah,
speak it.
yeah.
You know? And if you look at it as far as people, you know, the job opportunities, it just increases a lot if you know Spanish, for example, because it's just so practical here.
Like Americans, we think like, I don't know, it's like, I don't think a lot of people, most Americans probably haven't traveled enough. You know what I mean?
Yeah, once
So-
you travel, you realize, damn, I
Yeah,
didn't know.
they think like,
Yeah.
I traveled within the United States. You know, it's like, no, dude, like go somewhere, like,
outside of the culture, yeah.
right, you know, like, there's another world besides
Yeah,
this country. And,
That's why Spanish is good. It's like
yeah,
the majority of the world
yeah.
is Spanish.
And then even when you go someplace else, they may speak 3 different languages.
Yeah.
You know, whatever their country, then English, then whatever else. You know, so now you're already at a disadvantage.
Yeah, like sure, let's say you're in Brazil, they're gonna speak Portuguese, but they might speak some Spanish. So if you speak
Chinese
Spanish,
people
you're
definitely
okay.
speak English too.
Yeah,
Like,
but if they don't.
speaking from experience, learning any other languages allows you to learn any other language better. Like,
Yeah.
I knew German before I knew English. I came to this country to learn English like this
Yeah.
because I already knew German.
Yeah.
And
Like if you learn Latin in high school,
Yeah.
it helps with that.
it helps a lot.
And English is not an easy language, actually.
Oh,
It's easier than
it's,
Chinese.
trust me, it's very easy compared to Polish language.
Yeah,
Oh
it is.
God. Polish language is just like Chinese. It's just all exceptions. You have to memorize everything. And there's just like all these nuances. It's all little nuances. It's a very difficult language. Now I see it. Now from the perspective of looking here and reading American books, it's really, if you ask me, I mean, I was born and raised in Poland. It's easier for me to read anything that is in English than in Polish. It's a different mindset.
More descriptive.
It's more descriptive. It's just like with English, you read it and it's right there. With Polish, you have to and get to the point. Like, you know, it's different way the brain is wired, different ways the sentences are. It's just very complex.
Yeah, I read somewhere that they said that English is like the most
Natural.
descriptive language that we have, and that it can articulate things to the finest degree
More than Latin.
compared to any other language.
Compared to any other language, I agree with that. It's also very expressive. There's a lot of words that express emotions. Whereas like my language is not.
I mean, I know the way words are spelled in English doesn't always doesn't make sense.
Really.
Yeah.
I know something about it.
Yeah.
I know one word in
Spanish
Polish.
is like,
Yes.
Zdrowia.
That's still weird.
Cheers.
My friends,
Cheers.
Oh.
The
My
Polish
friends
friend,
say
that's all they
nice
talk
driveway.
about.
That's how they say. Nice driveway.
Oh, really?
Just to make it easier, na zdrowie, right?
Nice
Nice
driveway.
driveway, yeah.
so your mom is
Well, my both parents, but I'm the first generation. Everybody's in
so
Poland.
they speak Russian as well.
They speak Russian, Polish.
Yeah.
I grew up, I understand Russian. I can read it a little bit, but I don't practice it. So, but it's very similar language. I can understand Slavic and Czech as well. This is like the same family of languages. But yeah, the good thing is like what you guys ever tried to visit Poland, it's everybody speaks English. It's not
See, and that's the thing.
person on the street, everybody speaks English.
And
In
it-
restaurants, everyone.
When you go to like other countries, because like the United States, we're such a disadvantage because it's like, well, you have to come here, you have to learn the language. Yeah, how did that work out? So you know, it's like,
Yeah.
but when you go, even if you just go to Canada, right?
Yeah.
There's English and French on every sign. You
Yeah.
know, I mean, so we're not teaching our kids the right attitude.
Yeah.
I mean, they're trying to, they want to be the global superpower. They want everything to be under their control.
Conformed into the,
You know, just one language type thing, so then everybody understands each other.
Yeah.
That's what they want.
Even in Japan, like Honda, they just read an article. Honda, they just made their official language English. So in Japan, all their meetings are all going to be in English now. That all has
Yes,
to
in
change.
China, they're all trying to learn English. I mean, like everybody's trying to follow off the U.S. because they want to be rich like them. So like we're gonna talk like you, not just talk like you, but look like you. There's like a lot of people in Korea that got plastic surgery to look more white. You know, like they would like they would put stuff in their forehead and cut their noses.
I think it's a little scary, but at the same time, if you look at it at a bigger picture, it's the same way as Rome was like tyrannizing over all these smaller nations and making them conform to their ways. They built roads and like kind of unified the world a little bit. I think if we have the same language, eventually it'll push towards a more global type of unified sovereignty as opposed to so separated and then it's nations versus nations.
I know, but you lose identity.
You mean you can keep your cultural whatever heritage, but I'm telling you, thousands of years from now, we're going to be so melded together that we might as well have.
That's a great. That's
But
a great
English is
idea.
not
I
going to
like
be the
that.
language. It's not going to be English though. That's the thing. As the way it's going, it should be Spanish, right?
Kind of, as long as they can unite together and become
I think
force, so.
whoever has the most money, that's what it's gonna be. It's because it's not really the people. Because China has 1.3 billion people, but America, you know.
Yeah, but if they all united and rebelled together as 1.3 billion people, then I don't care who's got money. They're not gonna stop it.
They have no mentality. They're not developed.
But I'm
But
saying,
against I'm talking about against the atom bombs though, because we got the military. They might have the people, but we got the military, and ultimately we could just destroy the whole country. So like America, even though we only have 300 million people, we have the military, we have the money, and that's gonna destroy everything. It's like having 1 million people, then we all have the guns.
well, I'm saying if America rises up against the military, like against the government, I mean, like it was like French Revolution, power in numbers. You know what I'm saying? Like united, still couldn't stop those weapons.
But you know what? That's
Well, one thing is not going to be French because then you guys get mad when we can't pronounce the words right. So we'll never.
one thing is sure is that there will not be a revolution in this country, I guarantee you, because people live too well. You have to understand the very basis. I read a lot about revolution and because I'm anti-communist, of course, coming from the post-communist country. The revolution only makes sense when people are starving. Nobody's going to have a revolution if people are well fed and we have Thanksgiving and shopping and Black Fridays and sales. Revolt against what?
The problem with Americans is they feel entitled.
They are.
They're entitled.
But that's
So-
but look, that's very interesting. They feel entitled, yet you know they have wealth, they have everything that they can think of. And look how easy it is to manipulate people like that. You just give them, you just feed them.
Just enough
Yeah,
so that they
whatever,
won't.
so they can want, you know,
And-
they
and-
want
and that's what I'm
fame,
saying.
they want,
That's
you know
what-
what I'm saying?
Like, okay, if we're gonna say English is, you know, America, that's okay, that's the world power, we're gonna speak English. If we're not gonna outlaw every other language, then we have to learn the other languages, right? I mean, at least the more
I think it comes down to the individual responsibility of how effective of a communicator you want to be in your own life.
Yeah.
How open-minded
Yeah.
you want to be and how, you know, how well-rounded you want to be, you know?
I remember when I went to Dominican Republic and like all of the brochures and everything, they're like, oh yeah, they love Americans. I mean, they did, but you know, they weren't trying to speak English. You know, I had to speak Spanish when I went there. You know, because I wasn't doing it and they were getting offended. They're like, because
You can't
all of
predict
them look, I mean, they're dark like me, right? So they're like,
trying to be
you
better.
don't want to, yeah, like you don't want to, okay, yeah, all right. You know what I'm like, no, I don't want
It's
to.
here, it's with Hispanic looking people that don't understand
Yeah.
Spanish.
I didn't want to offend it by not speaking it, by not speaking it well. So then I ended up just speaking it, and then by the end of the 2 weeks, I was good again. But you know,
I mean, I think it would be benefit though to have a universal language, no matter what it is. I mean,
yeah,
it's just
Just don't lose your culture.
Think about how much more information can be spread though.
yeah.
But they tried to do that. They tried to do it in Europe. In 70s, they invented this language called Esperanto. You probably heard of it. There were a group of scientists, there were some group of Polish scientists like from all over Europe. They sat down and they came up with the easiest language possible. They called it Esperanto. It was a combination of all the easiest languages, the easiest grammar, easiest everything. Like, I don't know, for me it's just like easiest American, for instance. And they had conferences and they were teaching people, and I got into that too, because I was like, that's a great idea, right? thing for like probably 5 years, and then it died. Why? Because people thought, well, okay, we in Europe we didn't have Esperanto, but we still have America, so why? It doesn't make any sense. They don't teach Esperanto in America, and we want to be like America, so forget about it. We'll learn English.
But plus, there's no culture behind it. Is there?
There's no culture behind it. That was yeah. Everything was made up, so people couldn't identify it with it.
I guess we could go back to Latin. I don't know.
I like English. You can like shorten it and like get creative with it. Yeah, it leaves for a lot of creativity and expression. Like I have my own way of speaking. You know, that's my own little way.
I like Spanglish.
Yeah,
I like to hear French people curse.
And Italian people sing.
Yeah, okay. I mean, it's all beautiful. We just have to. I think the key is just to learn to wipe it out.
Yeah,
You know, to wipe
appreciate
it
it.
out.
And it's just like, I think that I have an American friend who's fascinated with French. And he's been to France many times, and he knows everything about France. And he doesn't speak the language well, but he knows things. Like he knows the basic things, like you say. He knows how to read the manual. He didn't go to school, he just taught himself. I have a huge, I would say, respect to him, because it takes time, but
You ever think that maybe somehow we spend too much energy on preserving culture and preserving tradition and preserving
I think it's
other stuff, as opposed to just kind of not letting things die out, but letting them evolve to how they're going to evolve? It's like, I bet there's tons of like races, different races of people throughout the world's existence that just died out. But they also contribute to, and languages die out, but they all contributed to what we have now, right?
I think I'm like the other way, man. I think we should keep our cultures. I think we just need to share it. You know how much good food comes out of?
And oh no, I'm all for it.
I've heard under one condition that you can come up with something better, something that has more meaning. And that's hard, because that's what I was trying to do here. When I came here from Poland, I was trying to stick to the tradition. It was impossible. It was impossible. Then I was trying to come up with something, my way of celebrating Christmas, my way of celebrating Polish American thing. It was very, very hard. It was hard because A, you have to make money, you have problems, you have other things to do than just try to sit down and think of inventing new traditions. But
Well, I guess it's just at what point does it seem in a bigger picture that it's this global like obstacle in the way to keep hitting our foot on the door because we're trying to wear like Muslim shirts all the time. You know, it's like when are these practices outdated and not allowing us to advance?
yeah, that's true.
It's like reading back in the Bible and living by outdated things in the Bible as opposed to looking at things that can help you evolve every day.
Well, the worst part of it is that you have to be aware of that we all have tendencies to be lazy and to go easy way, take the easy way out. So tradition is one of the ways to keep us grounded because, like, in
But
my
sometimes
culture,
it's an easy way. It's just like, oh, that's how they did it. I don't have to question it. It's already done. Bang.
Yeah,
I wear this and that's it.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying.
There's no growing.
Yeah, that's
It's like
true.
Taekwondo. We don't punch to the face. That's it. You know?
Why do you do this? Because that's how it's done.
yeah, I agree. Yeah, it's a good point. You're right. Some people get lost in it.
And that's a
good to have
religion in
balance.
itself.
It's good to have a balance.
It's good to have a balance, you know, keep your culture, but also branch out.
Branch out and try to create
It's
something.
like, you know, move ahead, but don't forget your roots.
But I think America is good for that because there's so many different cultures here. I don't think you see that many like in other countries.
You don't.
Like I see documentaries in China, it's like all Chinese.
That's
like,
true.
you don't
That's
see,
how it is. That's
like,
how it used to
it's
be in
here,
Poland. Yeah.
You know.
All Polish people and Polish culture. This is the way it is. Now it's changing, and I'm happy because it's all the good things are coming, and people are being more open-minded and tolerant and respectful. I love that. But the worst thing is that they also take all the bad stuff. They accept the bad stuff, stupidity, and all this.
I mean, we got like a lot of cultures here, but then the problem is like the things about racism and stuff. But in other countries, it's just like their own people oppressing their own people.
That's another thing.
You know, I
Yeah.
mean, you got the rich Chinese people oppressing all the poor countrymen, you know, and they're turning them into slaves. You know, it's just the struggle between power. But over here, they try to attribute it to race, but it's just this kind of struggle
It's
between power.
man's nature.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true. That's a good point.
But we have a benefit here. I mean, look, right over here, right not too far is like Hispanic town. You know, we got
Yeah, right,
Chinatown.
black.
Then we got blacks and whites. We got like a bunch of
Jews up west, Koreans.
That's a good and bad thing about Chicago. Chicago, I think, is the most segregated city,
Yeah.
but also it's the most diverse.
Diversity, yeah,
It's
that's
the
true.
most diversely segregated city. There's a little bit of every culture in the world here, but they're all separated in their own neighborhood.
You can go and don't even have to speak, you know, any language other than
and your
Like
native
the Polish
tongue.
triangle.
Your whole life.
yeah.
You
So my
know, the
grandma
Polish
was-
triangle, and like I like it's like a little. Well, it's not a Poland because it's just like a.
Where?
Belmont and Central,
Yeah.
or like
Harlem and Irving.
Belmont, yeah, that's what it is. But it's a, I would say it's a very primitive version of Poland. But I think that the reason it's segregated is like I look at Polish people. Well, they are segregated because they don't speak the language. So they have to stick together because they don't know any better and they're scared. So that's why I'm gonna buy a house next to this store because I'm scared. You know, I don't
Same
know.
thing with Mexicans.
Yeah, I don't know English, I don't know Spanish, and they're all gonna kill me because they don't look like me. So I'm just gonna stay because I'm safe. You know, that's type of a mentality.
I look at culture by food. I go to Vine,
There you go.
That's what the taste of colonialism, something is like that, you know, like.
I mean, it's so much, and then like, I would always see like, well not now, but maybe like in the 90s, people be like, well I don't know what I am, you know, my mom is white, my dad is black, what am I? You're mixed, you know, like, enjoy it, you know what I'm saying? Shut up.
That's part of both cultures and living.
Right, you got two worlds now that you can, you know,
Access.
enjoy, so shut up.
That's the way I feel. Yeah. People tell me like, oh, you're Mexican, I'm Mexican American.
Right.
Yeah, my parents are from Mexico, but I was born here. I
Exactly.
embrace both cultures, not just one.
Yeah.
I might favor one more sometimes,
Right.
but
Usually when I'm eating.
exactly.
Or there's a holiday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
I was writing to my friends in Poland, I was like explaining what the Thanksgiving is all about, and they were so excited. And I'm like, wow, that's so cool, you guys do that. And I'm like, how is everybody celebrating? I'm like, yeah, everybody's celebrating. And they're like, wow, this is amazing. It doesn't matter if you're, you know, black, white, or Jewish or anything, everybody's celebrating. Like, that's the point. And they were like mind blown about it. Yeah. I'm like, wow.
Everyone's celebrating but the turkey.
Put the native
Everybody
Americans.
except the turkey. There are beautiful, many beautiful ways about this country, and as being a foreign person, I learned to see it and appreciate it. And there's a lot of things that are wrong with this country too, but you know, it's just, it is what it is.
Everywhere else in the world.
That's what I'm talking about, and it's just, it's choice. If you don't like it here, you can always go and live somewhere else, and like in China or any other place. Good luck with that, you know. I had a friend who's Japanese and he was born here. He doesn't speak any Japan, but he looks Japanese. So after, I don't know, he was like 30 something, he went with his American wife. They went to Japan. They came back after a week. It was horrible because of the same thing. You know, everybody was speaking Japanese and they're like, we don't speak. Or like, you speak English? They're like, you better than us? And they're like, disrespecting them. They're like, I'm sorry, I'm not like, you look Japanese, you don't speak the language. And he was devastated. He was absolutely devastated. He said they just treated us like a foreign. So, you know, when we went somewhere, we were trying not to speak English because they were like, what are you doing, you know? And it's not their fault that they look Japanese, damn it. He's like, if I was white, they wouldn't mind, but I'm like, it's just,
I have a coworker that's Filipino. Whenever we go out to a Mexican restaurant, another guy, like a different Mexican guy, he always tells the server, the waiter, whoever is obviously Mexican, tells him, hey, you see that guy? His name's Apollo, you know, he acts, you know, like he doesn't speak Spanish, but look at him, he's Mexican, but he's Filipino. And so, you know, they're all giving him dirty looks and everything. Like spitting in his food. And then at the end, like when we leave, like, oh, he's not Mexican, he's Filipino. Then they all start laughing.
But all Filipinos have Latin in them.
Yeah.
it's so funny.
And, you know, my buddy's like, hey, why are they looking at me like that? Like, they don't like you.
It's really funny.
And I think that's the thing for me that I believe that we all come from the same place anyway.
Exactly.
So,
It's just whatever, a matter of
yeah. In the end, it's
there's
just,
more pigment in the just we're not
Yeah,
less.
yeah.
That's the only difference between us.
Yeah.
We're all the same. And it's just too bad that everybody looks at it the same way.
Even like let me just be personal, like with dating, like I would never limit myself to one. Like racial. You know, I understand maybe like if for marriage you have to have a certain cultural understanding,
But you know what? This is changing.
they're also
It's
pretty,
changing.
man. Like,
People change and I think we are more open-minded. It's not like systems. It's just people change and evolve, and I think it's beautiful because they don't create barriers. They overcome barriers.
yeah.
I think it's hard when there's that pressure coming from the family.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because they got this mentality, say you got a Hispanic family. We want you to marry a
Yeah.
Because we'll all
Well,
get
they want you
along.
to be happy. They want you to marry because yeah, exactly. It's a guarantee of happiness, right? And then a good life.
My Jewish friend's mom told me that if he didn't marry a Jewish girl, she'd disown him.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I hear the worst of the Jewish.
Yeah,
They're
Jewish
really
are the
serious
worst. I
about
heard that
that.
too. Yeah. But there's a movie that just came out about like Orthodox Jewish, and I mean there are a lot of Jewish people in Poland, and I thought I know something about Jewish, but this movie blew my mind. It's very Orthodox. Like they really have a lot of rules that.
That's Orthodox.
Yeah, it's wow. I would not last there one day. It's a very harsh religion.
I mean, I can understand like if it's like cultural or religious because you have to be somewhat aligned, but just to blanketly, you know what I'm saying? Like could I not find there's plenty of white people in Jamaica, you know what I mean? So culturally, we would be the same, right? So, but
It's all in our heads. That's what it is.
because I guarantee you, in the end, we're all the same. I mean, she's gonna give you a hard time. He's gonna give you a hard time. Right. So,
That is universal.
It was so funny when I got in a fight with one of my American friends, and I started swearing, and I realized it was just a couple of years ago that I only know like 4 swear words, and I was so upset. I'm like, what are you doing? I'm like, I wanted to express myself, but I can't. Trust me.
Same thing over again.
Yeah. It was coming out with this creative words like big head that I haven't even heard of, and I'm like, this is not fair. I can't really express myself fully.
You just gotta say your mama.
Oh, that's true.
Your mama.
I didn't know this was there. That's the whole thing. It took me years to get used to it. But that's something that they don't teach you. That's the worst thing.
And if you try to learn Spanish, that's the first thing you're gonna learn. Yeah.
what's the movie they made us watch in school? North,
Which one?
something about North. Like the family was traveling north. I don't remember the name of it, but I remember we picked up all the swear words from the movie.
Like I grew up in like a mixed black and Mexican neighborhood. So we used to teach, all the black kids, they would teach us, English swear words, and we would teach them in Spanish.
Oh. See, I missed that. I think it's too late. We also were in college, so nobody taught me anything.
Well, I would have taught you.
I'm trying to get C to teach me in Creole. Just so I know what she's talking about.
Just listen for your name.
Right.
I think kids are the best. They pick up everything so quickly.
Yeah.
All the things that they're not supposed to.
Yeah. But I don't know what kind of attitude, like rap music I have to have, you know what I'm saying? So,
Oh,
Oh, you know what? That was the funniest thing. Oh my god. Like the rap music, right? Because like you'd be surprised how many there's a whole culture, rap culture in Poland, right? And it's just like
they rap in Polish.
oh, what are you talking about? This is like
everywhere.
everywhere. And I'm like,
Every
first of all, like
single
okay,
country
so
has a rap.
exactly. And I was like, okay, I thought that this is fun, right? It's cool. So I come here and then I try to understand this culture. And I'm coming back to Poland. I'm telling my friends, you know nothing. You don't understand where this is coming from. Like you are copying. They're just being, just copying things that you don't understand. And it's just like, just come up with something by yourself. So, you know, so like in a sense that I guess what I'm trying to say is that like
It wasn't authentic.
it wasn't authentic. That's what it was, and that made me angry because it's just like.
I mean, that's okay. I mean, like people that like Pitbull, right? I mean, that's cool.
Pitbull,
That's
yeah.
cool. I mean, on some levels.
Makes.
There were so many racist tweets about him and J-Lo about the whatever awards last weekend.
I missed it.
I saw an article in the paper. Everyone was saying, I thought this was the American awards, not the Latin awards. Like, wait, they're both American.
Exactly.
They were born here.
And music is like, music and food pulls everybody together. So
Yeah.
they can kill that.
Good job, guys.
Today's Friday, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
I have the